Welcome to another episode of Realistic Fitness brought to you by Adidas. As always, I'm Angelo Gingerelli. Now, if I was to ask you, what is the most important thing? The thing that comes before all other things. You might say family. You might say God. You might even say hard work. And those are all good answers. But let's narrow that down a little bit. What's the most important thing that comes before all other things when we're talking about food? I hope you're thinking breakfast. So what we're going to do in this episode is I'm going to take you through a week in my life and give you 5 quality breakfasts that you can eat every day and get every day off to a good, healthy, and nutritious start. Okay, so it's Monday morning. I'm about to get my week off on the right foot with one of my favorite all-time breakfast foods, oatmeal. Now, if you haven't had oatmeal in a while, you're probably thinking of old school images of kids at a bad summer camp eating slop and gruel off of metal trees. And that's not really the case at all anymore. They make oatmeal in dozens of flavors. Go out and try some. I'm sure you'll find one you like. And if you still think it's a little bland, feel free to mix in some fresh fruit or one of my personal favorites, cold applesauce. The cold applesauce meets the hot oatmeal. It blends in together. It becomes almost like a healthy apple pie a la mode, and you get an extra serving of fruit without even really thinking about it. The other reason I love to start my week off with oatmeal is it provides the kind of slow-burning carbohydrates that will keep you going strong and not hungry all the way through till lunch, and it provides a ton of vitamins and a ton of fiber. Welcome to Toaster Tuesdays. And I realize that sounds like something that would happen in a nightclub, you know, Toaster Tuesdays, ladies free before 11. But today we're going to talk about eating breakfast out of your toaster. Toaster's a great way to get a hot meal without a whole lot of time and effort. The most common thing to do in a toaster is obviously toast. What you want to look for in your toast is the darkest bread you can find. That normally indicates good carbohydrates and a lot of fiber. So you want to look for your whole wheat, your rye, your pumpernickel, your rye pumpernickel swirl, your oat bran, your 10 grain, your 12 grain. All that stuff is a great way to start your toast. Then you want to add, if you can, peanut butter to get some protein in the meal, and then jelly or fresh fruit, sliced up bananas, apple butter, stuff like that, or add an extra serving of fruit, a ton of vitamins, and extra fiber to really get your day started off correctly. The one thing you want to avoid when eating it out of the toaster is overly processed foods. Waffles, pancakes, French toast sticks. They're in the freezer section. They're quick, they're sweet, they taste really good. They're not really good for you. A lot of bad carbs, a lot of fat, and usually not too great on the vitamin side of things either. The other thing you want to avoid is your toaster strudel, your toaster pastries. In general, you want to avoid pastry overall. Whether it's overly sugary sweet desserts or those lame sneakers that came out less than a year ago and are already on the clearance rack, you don't want to really mess with pastry. But in general, the toasters are a great way to get a hot meal before you get going to school or work. That is good toast. Okay, it's Wednesday morning. It's already been kind of a tough week, and I'm going to deal with some of that stress by hitting the streets and going out for a nice long run before I get to Seton Hall to train our student athletes. So the first thing I do on days when I work out early is I have a good breakfast, Rocky style, of half a dozen raw eggs. I'm not going to do that. It's silly and kind of disgusting. But one thing that you do want to do when you get an early morning workout in is get some food in your system before you do that. And today there's a ton of commercially available energy and meal replacement bars that'll help you do that. From old school granola bars that we remember from our lunch boxes to new bars that are made specifically to fuel the workouts of high-level athletes. There's a great variety out there, a ton of brands, a ton of different bars, and a ton of different flavors that I'm sure you can find one you like. Now, I can get into a long, and let's be honest, kind of boring conversation about glycemic indexes and fat to protein ratios and types of carbohydrates, but what I suggest you do is go through a system of trial and error to find a brand and a flavor you like that will give you the kind of fuel you need to get in a good workout. After your workouts, what you don't want to do is skip breakfast and go all the way to lunch without eating again. You want to come back, allow yourself some time to have a good protein-packed breakfast to fuel the rest of your day. So you want to look at things like eggs, peanut butter, and good carbohydrates in oatmeal and whole grain cereals to get you through till lunch. Alright, it's Thursday morning. I'm running late on my way to Seton Hall to train a baseball team, which means I got to get breakfast on the road. Now, this can be a recipe for disaster. Some of the sandwiches available at Burger King, McDonald's, Wendy's, or typical fast food places are almost a surefire way to have Oprah cutting you out of your house in a couple years. However, we can make this work. If you go to a local bagel shop or a bakery, a bagel with light cream cheese, peanut butter, eggs, egg whites, all available, all very cheap. They'll all work for a good breakfast and get you through till lunch. What you want to stay away from is overly processed meats, Taylor ham, bacon, sausage patties, and if you do add cheese, do it sparingly. It's Friday. Let's have some cereal. Cereal is a great way to start your day. It's economical, especially if you buy it in bulk like I do, and they make it in tons of flavors and tons of different brands, and most of them are fortified with the vitamins and minerals you need to keep you going through the day. A couple rules of thumb when you're picking out your cereal in the aisle. You want to stay away from the stuff at eye level. That tends to the grocery store, that tends to be the most sugary, most artificial sweeteners, and most artificial colors. Another good way is you want to look up or down in the aisle for the healthier choices. Another thing you want to look at when you're choosing your cereal, color-wise, it should be some shade of brown or beige. It shouldn't be purple, red, green, or any other color that doesn't occur in nature. Real quick rule of thumb on that, when you're done with your cereal, your milk should still be white. If you look down at the bowl and your milk looks like your Easter outfit in some shade of pastel, you know you didn't make the best cereal choice and you took in a lot of sugars and a lot of artificial flavors and sweeteners. Secondly, you want to look at the milk. Whole milk is generally a bad idea. You want to look for skim, 2%, part skim, and if lactose is a problem, you want to look for soy, almond, or some other non-dairy milk that has the protein and flavor of milk without the lactose, which you're probably having trouble digesting. Okay, the weekend's finally here. Couldn't come soon enough. This has been a long week for me. I finally get a chance to wear my recreational clothing, aka not an athletic t-shirt with some kind of motivational saying on the front. And I'm going to celebrate the weekend by going out to breakfast with my friends. Going out to breakfast is a great time. It's a great break from the monotony of the school or work week, but there's a lot of bad choices on restaurant breakfast menus that can really ruin your nutrition for the week. Couple notes, you want to just use common sense. French toast by itself, especially on whole wheat bread, is not a bad decision. French toast stuffed with cheesecake and an ice cream sundae on top, probably not the best decision. Also, omelet-wise, there's a ton of great choices out there, a ton filled with low-fat cheeses and great vegetables that'll get you an extra serving of veggies before you get on your day for the weekend. But there's a lot of bad choices too. Any omelet that comes with a t-shirt, a hat, or a prize of any kind for finishing it, you want to stay away from. You should pay restaurants for eating their food. They should not reward you for eating the most disgusting, sloppiest, worst for you omelet they could come up with. And in general, if you're eating a good omelet, take it a step further and ask them to substitute egg whites instead of the whole eggs. Most places will do this at no additional charge. That's going to be it for now. I'm about to go out to my friends for breakfast. Guess I gotta go. Thanks for watching Realistic Fitness.